If you had one thing you would want to tell people about your experience in Iraq, what would it be?
Life-changing. To be honest, Mary, I didn't come home the way I did before I left. So my name's Stephen Hines, deployed with the 1450th Transportation Company in March of 2004. Went to Iraq. Spent almost 13 months over there. You know, you're kind of a sitting duck, I guess, so to speak. Every time we went out, you never knew what was going to happen. I mean, of course, you know, we got reports and knew if there were hostile things going on, but, you know, IEDs are unexpected, and you can't plan for those. You can plan for what happens after it goes off, but you can't plan for it happening. We were always amped up. I always knew once we got to ASR Sword that it was go time. The adrenaline started pumping, and you know, I knew that it was time to react. You know that there's a constant danger over there, but I was also over there with people that I loved and I cared about. You know, I tell people, you know, that my whole goal over there was to make sure that I took care of my buddy. That who we went over there with, we were going to come home with, and I would do whatever it took for us to come home. And I have those memories of combat, but I also have those memories of the closeness that I got with those guys. I have 4 friends that to this day I can call, and if I'm having a hard time or I'm struggling or you know, I just need somebody to talk to, I can call. They're probably 4 of the closest people that I know on this planet. And I love them and I care about them. And so if I'm ever struggling, I know I can reach out and call. One of my best friends to this day, who is here tonight, we drove to East Scandaria, and the first night we were there, we had some of our unit was parked, or some of our mission was parked along where the power plant was. And then the other part was parked along the street line. And we had big, huge Jersey barriers. These were huge, big concrete Jersey barriers that they would use for, you know, for shelter in case of incoming mortars and rockets. And so we had went and picked these things up in Kuwait, and we were taking them north. Well, that night, we were all bunked in, and I decided I was going to put my cot inside one of the Jersey barriers. I said, you know, if they're going to bomb us, they're going to have to bomb through this Jersey barrier. And Gary Davis and David Brown were on the other side, over by the power plant. And so when they lobbed these mortars in, there was probably about a volley of 10 mortars that came in. And whenever those mortars came in, all of a sudden, I looked down the street, and here comes Gary and David with their cots and all their gear on their shoulders. And they were walking up and they were like, hey man, you got any room in those Jersey barriers, man? Said, we want to sleep in them Jersey barriers tonight. Combat changes you as a human being. You view the world a whole lot more differently now after you had these experiences that you did before. And you know, I wasn't a very nice person whenever I came home. A lot of people probably are not going to be able to relate to that because they know me. I came home with things inside, and an anger and a rage inside that I'd never had before I left. And I've had to ask for help with that. But as a human being, I'm changed. I'm not the same guy that I was before I went. Combat changes us as human beings. Those experiences change us. Some for the good, some for the bad. And we learn how to work through those things. The great part about it is I get to use those same experiences now to have an impact on a fellow veteran's life that is struggling, that doesn't know, that hadn't made their way back home yet. They're still in the desert. And hopefully I get to play a small part in letting them know that, hey, there's a way home.